Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gaming with me, Tony Mo, and welcome back to the universe of No Man's Sky. I'm here today, guys, with another spoiler-free episode. The only thing we're going to be doing today is some resource gathering. We're going to talk a little bit about the story behind my new ship, and we're going to talk about this wonderful planet that I've discovered called Terra Azul. It's one of my favorite planets in the game thus far. Planets, yeah. You know those planets, the things in the sky? Hands down, though, one of my favorite planets in the game thus far. Incredibly beautiful. The color palette of the planet itself changes from night to day. It is just a staggeringly amazing planet. And, I think a great example of how incredible the procedural generation inside of No Man's Sky is. We'll also talk a little bit more about my feelings on the game, as we go throughout things. But let's start with my spaceship, because this is the most exciting thing for me right now. It's not the most beautiful starship out there. It's basically two giant thrusters strapped to a tiny little cargo bay with a cockpit. It looks sketchy, and I love it for that reason. It looks like something that would come straight out of, like, Tatooine. Like, they were just putting this thing together with scraps of pod racers. I love the way it looks. It's actually a ship that I found on this planet that was crashed. So there was a story behind this ship. And I'll leave that for you guys to discover on your own. But let's just say, this game for me at this point, in the now 10 plus hours that I've played, I think we're actually past the 12-hour mark at this point, I'm going to be completely honest, is doing all of the things that I was excited about Star Citizen doing that maybe one day they'll get to. It's doing them all. Maybe not in the same ridiculous level of detail, like, oh, there was a gunfight around the starship, but nonetheless in a spectacular fashion that has me completely just sinking my teeth into this game. Like, I am not even close to feeling like I've put any time in, and I'm at the 12-hour mark. Like, I'm trying not to just come across as completely overly positive, and, people might not believe me and like, oh, you're just full of crap. But no, seriously, 12 hours in, and there's no question in my mind that I'm going to put another 20 plus hours into this game. The sense of discovery just has not died out for me. In fact, it's only increased. Like, my excitement to go to new planets or explore more of a certain planet has only expanded. And I'm trying to hold back, actually, from going to new solar systems. I actually jumped a couple systems over and was dealing with a different alien race. And I'm like, no, I want to go back to my nice place. I like the people there. I like the Vy'keen. I want to know more about them. I want to spend more time on their planet. So I spent all this time gathering resources to make warp coils so I could come back. Take your time, guys. I'm going to point that out right now. Take your time, because there are so many, obviously, systems and stars to go through in the game that it's really easy to get lost. So if you find a system that you really enjoy, keep track of it. Do what you need to do to make a mental note of where it is and where it connects. Like, map out your routes. That is one area in which the game, I think, could prove in a little bit, as I'd love to be able to set waypoints based on discoveries I've already made. Hopefully that's something they add very soon, because it's very difficult to go back to an old system once you've really jumped like 3 or 4 systems away. There are so many stars, so many systems, you can easily get lost. But nonetheless, guys, there's my beautiful ship. So let's talk a little bit about Terra Azul. This is a planet that I named that was not its original name. Although I have to say, I liked its original name. It was like Kaka Gaka Kikik. I couldn't even say it right. It was actually a pretty cool name. But I named this planet Terra Azul, and that's something I wanted to share with you guys quickly. A small pro tip while we're here, because this is something I just realized at about the 9-hour mark. There's so much in the game once you get your momentum moving. Like, admittedly, the game starts off a little bit slow, but once you get into things start moving really quickly. And a lot of that is because you are going to have this urge to go to the next thing and discover more. What you can miss out here is that when you make a discovery, when you scan something in the world, right, it shows up in your discoveries, and it'll have a red arrow next to it, like this one. You see that little red arrow there, right? That means it hasn't been uploaded. What that means is that the name of that creature hasn't been uploaded. Its discovery hasn't technically been uploaded yet. So say, like, Rosawa Prime here. That's the generated name for this moon. If I wanted to name Rosawa Prime something different, I would need to rename and upload. And then I would get my 2,000 units. If I just uploaded, it would upload Rosawa Prime as the name for the planet. You would not be able to change it. So don't just start clicking all of these things, uploading everything, and then missing out on the opportunity to name something that you wanted to name. As I said, the same goes for creatures and for flora, flora and fauna. Like, if I want to rename this Bayerst Valor, I need to do it before I upload. So let's rename this guy. I'm just going to call him the He's kind of like it's like a zebra mixed with like a meerkat. So the Zercat. There we go. I'm down with that. It's the Zercat. So I'm going to go ahead and hit our... I just called it the Zercar. It's like you go back in time. It's like, why was it called a bear? Well, they actually misspelled beat. They meant to call it a beat. This was supposed to be the Zercat. It's not the Zercar. But nonetheless, I've uploaded. I've gotten my 2,500 units, and I cannot change its name. So keep that in mind, guys, while you're playing the game. I don't want anybody to miss out on naming something that they're really excited about naming. So anyways, this is my multi-tool as well. We could mine some Heridium. Get a couple creatures on this planet. This planet itself is known for its rain, basically. So let's actually look at Terra Azul. So it's damp, limited number of sentinels, which means it's great for harvesting rarer materials that the sentinels might be pissed about. Full flora. As you can see, there's flora all over this place. A limited number of fauna, though. So wildlife not so heavy. I want to check out this little beach down here. This is super cool, guys. You guys know how I'm going to be with this game. This is like Adventures Inc. for me all over the place. I'm just so stoked about just checking things out. And we got a journey milestone. Wanderer, travel 50,000 U. I've traveled quite a great ways in this game at this point. This is a cool little place. Nothing really crazy here, just a nice little kind of puddle. But nonetheless, this planet actually has some substantial amounts of water on it, but it's distributed by a nice amount of land, which is convenient. I've been to a couple planets where there was so much water that you couldn't... it was crazy, like the amount of water that some of the planets have. I believe I've scanned all these, so yeah. Alright. Let's see. I need some zinc. What I'm trying to do right now is build more cells for my jump drive, my hyperdrive. The thing about building warp cells for your hyperdrive, another small pro tip, I guess you could say, is that once you slot those cells, that's it. So say if you decide to transfer ships or buy a new ship, you're going to lose all of those cells. So you're going to have to make more. So I tend to not slot a bunch of warp cells unless I know I'm going to be making a bunch of jumps. Let's hop into the ship, though, and kind of fly around the planet a little bit. Maybe find some of the water areas and kind of just give you guys a bird's eye view of this planet. Because it is quite spectacular. Like I said, I really, really love this planet. We got a little outpost down there we could stop at. You can see some of the larger bodies of water over here. And looks like night is starting to fall. So we're going to see that color palette change I talked about. This is a very blue planet. But during the daytime, you get some shades, some purples, some pinks in there. At night, the darkness kind of stops the reflections from happening, and everything becomes like this one shade of blue. This lighter blue color, and it's super beautiful. You can see lots of fauna here. We've got a marker there. We could use that to kind of look for more stuff if we wanted to. This little canyon down here. Again, I'm trying not to talk too much about this stuff because, for me, No Man's Sky was a pretty fresh experience where I really didn't know anything about the game. So I just want to kind of fly around this planet, and we'll kind of close it up there for you guys. Keep it real simple this week. Like I said, you're going to be pleasantly surprised at how much this game actually has to offer. I know a couple of you guys have voiced concerns to me in regards to. I'm not somebody who really appreciates environmental design that much. That's okay, not everyone has to be like a connoisseur of environmental design. But don't worry, because I think that's just going to kind of be the icing on the cake. There's actually a lot to drive you forward in No Man's Sky. A surprising amount. A lot of people, I think, looking at maybe other streams or maybe just the game from the outside and don't realize or don't get to see just how much stuff the game actually has in terms of objectives and little quests and things like that. They're there. Trust me, they're there. And when you find them, you're going to be really stoked. And to me, they're going to be a substantial driving force for a lot of people who I understand, don't really, or haven't, in the past at least, been comfortable with, just games where you spend a lot of time wandering. There's plenty to do in No Man's Sky. Trust me. It's there. I'm going to keep it under wraps for you guys. So we're going to call it there, guys. This is the beautiful planet of Terra Azul, my wonderful little spaceship here, the Umbar Bona S85. Sounds like a Zamboni. And keep an eye out, guys. Got some other cool stuff coming up this week. we may start to break into some more discovery-oriented discussion. I have a video planned for one of the alien races that I've become very close with in the coming days, so that might be something that's a little bit more spoilerish for those of you guys who are just hopping into the game. And coincidentally enough, I'm actually playing this on the PlayStation 4, as you guys know. I'm going to be jumping to the PC build. My plan was to have the PlayStation 4 version for my brother, so I'm actually going to be jumping to a fresh start and making a new start, so we'll check out the new planet that I'm on Friday, and we'll kind of start from there. It's going to be sad to leave this behind. I've become really attached to everything I've discovered here, these planets, but it's okay. New discoveries await just around the corner as the PC version goes live on Friday, and a whole slew of adventurers and travelers will join us in the universe of No Man's Sky. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you're out there on the PC version this Friday, making some of your very first discoveries. Hopefully you guys playing on the PlayStation 4 are getting even more involved and more lost in the wonderful worlds that this game has to offer. I'll see you in the next one.